This is the Business on Top podcast with Shane Chernoff, Vijay Patel, and Ben Siegel.
Was the pod before Christmas, and all through the house, the BOT boys were all stirring, and so was Shane's computer mouse. As they set up and teed up for episode 15, then Vijay and Shane thought of the journey that's been. What began with a drunk thought on July the 4th turned into a weekly show featuring 3 kids from back north. The 3 boys from up north thought of shows people trust, and after 5 seltzers looked up and said, "Hey, why not us?" So they ordered a kit and waited for it with glee, but when it arrived, something was missing. The boys thought, where could our mics be? Turns out that the mics took a slight detour to Cali, which makes no damn sense. The store was on the East Coast, they might as well have sent it to Maui. Those boys, they were clueless during episode 1, but when the lights came on, they thought, man, isn't this fun? They pondered and wondered about how to get better, but then Shane turned on burial cart, so they just said, whatever.
Nice.
They went half beer and whole beer and even took shots, and ideas came to mind. They didn't even need pot. Said V, we'll get a nice voice for an intro, so folks near and folks far can listen to us and hear how awful we are. Said Ben, let's talk shower thoughts. Now that's a good invention. Now if we can just keep Shane out of the Hall of Fame of not paying attention. They did episodes on street fights and their travels abroad, and they all told you to follow them at Business on Top Pod. Hell, last week they made matzo ball soup. It was so delicious and dreamy. Though as good as it was, it can't top me Muschimi. Still, they thought, something's missing. How can our content beat the rest? Then they realized, duh, interesting things and interesting guests. They hope guests will join them and share fun tales with you, and they did. So thank you, Whitney, Sarah Abraham, and even Chef Asshole, too. There were conversations insightful, some were deep, some were crass, even though we'll be honest, last week's show was just fantastic. They talked Woody Williams, perhaps this week Bo Scaife. But no matter what, at show's end, you'll get to stay tuned and stay safe. Like Prancer and Dancer, Donner and Blitzen, some nights we've been great, and some shows we've been shitsin'. Regardless, the boys have great guests, interviews, and more fun in store. So don't worry, be happy. In 2021, you'll get even more. But before they say goodbye to 2020 and this weird COVID year, the boys get together for one more show and more beer. But most of all, thank you, listeners. Our gratitude, we can't begin to describe. With your likes and your listens, your rates and subscribes. And unsubscribes, resubscribes, re-rates, and re-reviews. But before the weekend starts, and before those Amazon drones take flight, BOT says Merry Christmas to all, and enjoy that first post-show Taco Bell bite. This is episode 15 of the Business on Top podcast. My name is Shane Chernoff. Alongside with me, as always, is Vijay Patel and Ben Siegel.
I want to get that tattooed on my ass cheek.
Well,
That poem was majestic, elegant, and Shakespeare would be proud.
Okay, well, you know, it's interesting because I read and write for a living, but anytime I sit down and do something creative writing like that, I forget how fun it is because I just do it so often, and it's not, trust me, it's not as fun when I do it at work. But I sat down, I laid down on the couch there for an hour, and I thought of that, and I very much enjoyed doing that. So I'm glad that you guys liked it, and I hope the listeners, enjoyed it, because at the end of the day, we do it all for you guys. So we're happy to bring you this content here. We're getting closer to Christmas, and man, that was, I think, a good way to start the show.
Cheers.
Cheers. That is one of many Christmas gifts and surprises. Before we cheers, full disclosure, Ben and I have never had eggnog, so this is going to be our first drink of eggnog. We're going to do it on the air.
Spiked
We don't know how it tastes. We're going to figure out how's this going to go.
To
Lead
all
it.
all the shitty parts of 2020 with COVID and everything, but start of our pod, we've been able to come out with 15 episodes.
A lot of good.
More in store for 2021, and
to making the best out of a bad situation, and to making the best situation of things forthcoming.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. Cheers to the viewers.
It does taste like bubble gum.
It tastes like bubble gum.
Ben hadn't tasted it, and he said it smells like bubble gum.
Is that the rum? Or is that the eggnog?
Bubble rum.
Bubble rum.
I mean,
that
actually isn't too bad. Yeah, I can do that.
It's good.
I can get
really
with that.
Cold. It's like really good, but that's why I put ice in it for you guys.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would drink it.
So is that the ultimate Christmas drink? Is that what everybody just kind of sits down, relaxes on the couch, and does that?
Yeah, if you're gonna drink something during Christmas, it's definitely the eggnog. Spiked is a choice for.
It's a good choice. I mean, that's really good. I mean, I'm
but
not
it
complaining.
tastes great by itself too, as well. So it's just heavy, but
Man.
So
Christmas. I thought. I thought that was pretty solid. Cheers. I got some gifts for you, and Ben, while you drink, I did have a question for you because I was wondering out loud what you did last Christmas. What were you up to?
Probably.
You were in Chicago. I mean, you were still working for the Bears at that time.
I was in Chicago. I mean, we must have had practice. I don't think there was games on last Christmas.
I don't even remember what day of the week Christmas fell on, but
I don't think it was a Sunday. But probably had an early practice that day, and then came home like any other football season, and just it was another day. Obviously, not celebrating Christmas, whether in Florida or Chicago or wherever. It was just another day. So
I guess your calendar's different when you're working for a franchise. But what were you gonna say? Sorry.
It was cold. It was in the teens.
Oh, in Chicago, shocker.
Yeah. So it actually felt like that's the biggest thing I miss about living in New York is the seasons, and especially the Thanksgiving and the Hanukkah and the Christmas is when those holidays are kind of coming about when it starts getting cold out. But down here, it gets cool, maybe for a couple of days, but there's no snow, and then it gets hot the next day. It doesn't really feel like season or.
It doesn't, and it doesn't. You know what? That's annoying, and you're so right about that because every year I sit here and generally most years I travel. This year I haven't been able to. I mean, it's been pretty much 78, 80 degrees. We've had a couple 50s. I don't think we've dipped into the 40s yet. But it just doesn't feel like Christmas. You go outside, it's like a cheap version. It's 55 degrees at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I have to play Jingle Bell Rock because who knows when the next cold day that you're going to get down here is.
Yeah.
I just love being able to enjoy cold weather and cold air around Christmas time. You just can't do it down here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but today was actually one of the colder, quote-unquote, colder days.
65.
It was 65, but in the morning it was, I think it dipped below 60, yeah.
Man, it's not long enough for my taste. I'm ready to go out of town.
I mean, to be fair, would you rather have it being cold 3 seasons out of the year, or it being a cold a 70-degree
I would prefer 3 seasons out of the year, but I mean, if you're talking Atlanta, where the summers are warm and the springs are normal
even
temperature.
North Florida, Tallahassee.
Tallahassee was great, man.
Yeah.
The windshield would freeze over a couple times a year, but you deal with that to get temperatures in the 40s, 50s, the 60s for a couple of months out of here.
It would get cold enough where it wouldn't snow, but you would get kind of that freezing temperature a couple weeks out of the year, and then those other weeks during fall, you had the perfect weather, 50s, 60s. It didn't really feel like Florida. I'm sure it was the same in Gainesville. I mean, Tallahassee's not that much further north.
Yeah, it got pretty chilled in.
Every now and then, and I think a little bit after we graduated, we actually ended up having a snowfall. But that was after I got out of there. I remember like you remember Mother's Pub? They posted something on their Instagram where like they were getting some flurries here and there.
Times.
I wish that would make its way down here. I would love even just like a shocking snowfall in South Florida.
The thing is, like, I never experienced it because for every Christmas and New Year's when we were in Gainesville, we were pretty much down here in South Florida.
Yeah, well, I mean,
So
we would come back for winter break, so
cold.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was still warm. When we were
Have you ever been out of town and actually had a white Christmas? I mean, growing up there, I know you've had it, but have you? Because I haven't. I don't know what that's like, and I wonder if the people up north are like looking at us like it's overrated. I wonder if this is like grass is greener on the other side too.
Today, I mean, well,
Yeah.
I mean, this weekend, New York's getting, or not only New York.
Oh, they're getting
North
rocked.
is getting pummeled by like a foot to 18 inches of snow. I don't think it's overrated. I think it's. I mean, I loved it. Chicago, it didn't snow on Christmas. It snowed on Halloween. That was the most snow that came down, which was surprising. But I don't know. Like it's part of the holidays. Snow, the cold. The holidays are here when it's.
Well, let me ask you this: given the choice, would you rather spend Christmas somewhere warm or somewhere cool?
Cold.
Me too.
Well,
what about you?
cold.
I'd rather spend
Yeah.
Hanukkah cold.
I mean, Christmas or Hanukkah. Either one. I would be, more than happy
All
to
right,
go somewhere
speaking
that
of which,
has a white Christmas.
Since the movie theaters are closed, what do you guys do?
Yeah, what's the game plan?
Well, Chinese food, of course. They're
Yeah,
still
yeah.
open.
Oh yeah, I'm getting Chinese for sure. The NBA will be on, as we
NBA
see in the
will be
background.
on.
We got some preseason basketball going. We'll touch on basketball a little bit in the next segment.
Probably not much. I mean, the vaccine started to roll out, which is great, but you can't really go out still and do much. So we'll probably we might maybe throw the football around or have a baseball catch. I don't know. I feel like that's very.
My Christmas tradition has always been NBA McDonald's, and honestly, the one thing that I actually did last year that I hadn't done in a long time, or actually I hadn't done at all until that point, the golf courses are wide open. I mean, Jews have their run of the place when it comes to golf courses on Christmas. I mean, we feel like the Kings. It's just wide open. Nobody's out there. You can play 18. It's fantastic. So that might be something that I end up doing. But Christmas, 'tis the season. It's time for giving. We've had a couple of Christmas miracles, actually. In case you guys don't know, parking at my place is a nightmare. It is often very difficult for us to find visitor spots for these two when they come here. There were a couple of Christmas miracles that happened. Everybody was able to get off work a little bit early today. We started the pregame early. We played our burial card a little bit early. But there is one more Christmas miracle that I wanted to give to you guys, and in the spirit of giving, Ben Siegel, I did want to give you this Christmas present. So if you'll hang on one second,
What's going on here?
I have
Is this a project that you're
a
surprised?
Christmas present for you. It is right here, and I want you to open this up on
Here we
air to
Is it my
see.
suit?
Present.
Is it my suit jacket?
It is something.
Wait, this is for
It is
all
it
of
is
us?
something. This is my present to you, sir.
To
And I
me,
want you to
like
use
to
these
me
scissors.
or to
Don't-
me and BJ?
Don't run with them.
It's to all-
But
it's
you
for
can
all of
open.
us.
You can open your gift.
Wait,
For
do you know
all
what it
of us.
is?
You can open your gift, Ben
Maybe
Siegel.
I do, maybe I don't.
Wait, why did I get
It's
it?
for all of us.
Merry Christmas, sir.
We got
And,
a bow on there.
But as Ben opens his present, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was, what is your favorite Christmas special? Like the Family Guy.
Yeah!
Oh, he's excited.
Oh,
All right,
I knew it. I knew
Show
it.
show people what it is.
Filibustering,
All right.
Yeah.
Let me get this. This shit was. industrial tape.
Ah.
All right, yeah. Keep.
All right, yeah. So I love the Fairly Odd Parents Christmas special, and I maintain that to this day that is the greatest Christmas special of all time. I know we have the Charlie Brown Christmas special, Charlie Brown, all the Charlie Brown holiday specials are good, but the humor and the writing of the Fairly Odd Parents Christmas special was always great to me. And I was so happy to be able to drink eggnog because Timmy's dad was like so excited about it. Yeah, we love you, Noggy. Mine. I'm gonna have another drink of it.
The return.
The return.
She's home.
Alright, get in the frame, Ben. Get in
She's
the
home.
frame.
Oh, wait, I gotta.
Yeah, you're
Alright,
gonna
guys. Wait,
try
Ben,
it
get
on.
in the frame. You're
You
not
were
in the
wearing
frame.
my crappy substitute jacket for about a month and a half now, maybe more.
So,
But now,
this is cross state lines.
don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Talk to the
See
listeners.
this fresh,
This made its
out
way
of
here in
Italy.
the cool North Carolina air.
100%. What's like
That's pure Italian leather
Pure-
right
yeah.
there.
Pure
rubbing on that
Jewish
Italian
leather.
leather with common cheese on it.
No.
Pure Israeli leather.
Yeah.
Over here.
There's
Right?
pure.
Still smells good.
Oh man.
Wait, I gotta check if the $100,000 in my
It
pocket.
still has.
Yeah, you still have Halloween candy
It
in
still
there from
has the
last
smell
episode.
from his bar mitzvah.
Alright, Ben is gonna make love to his jacket, so we're gonna take a slight commercial break. More business on top. Coming at ya! Up next!